Thank you, Matt. Exciting two-game trip to Texas. First game at Arlington, we shot the ball, played well in the first half, had a 7-point lead going into the half, knew that they were going to come out and make a strong push. They tied the game immediately, went ahead by 1 point in the middle of the second half, and then we took the lead back. We're up five with a couple of minutes to go and missed a couple of shots that could have won the game in regulation. They've got the ball last. We foul late. They get an offensive rebound and call goaltending. Uh, and set up the dramatic last shot by Duguay, something that we practice. We've run it twice this year. You guys saw the first time we did it. We hit Cedric, and he had one rim out against Little Rock to tie the game. And this time, we instead of Mason throwing the ball he hadn't played, we let PJ throw it. He didn't play in the Little Rock game, and made a perfect throw, made a great catch, and then made a great shot. But the guy always has the option to turn and shoot it in that situation, and Dew made the right decision and made a fantastic shot. So quite a dramatic way to end the basketball game, one that we'd need. It was our third win in a row at Arlington. We always played well there, and it prepped us and gave us some confidence headed down to San Marcos, another place that we played extremely well in the past. Did not play as well as we needed to early in the first half. Didn't shoot the ball. Our defense was good, but we fell behind a little bit, and we're down seven at the half in a low-scoring game. And then the second half, we made a great late push. We finally made a couple of shots, made a great late push, and were able to get the game to a two-possession game, but just ran out of time down the stretch. Difficult, disappointing loss for us at Texas State. They're fighting for seeding. I believe they're third in the conference right now. We've got our fourth, and we've got the second, third place team coming in this week in Georgia State, who had their way with us up after our win at App. That was the first game Malik Wilson did not play, of four that we lost. We were very shorthanded at guard. Cedric couldn't move very well, and they shot the ball, and it was a convincing win for those guys. And a big spread, like a lot of games have happened this year in college basketball. It's very strange. We turned around, went to Statesboro, played great against Georgia Southern for about 28 minutes, and then let that game go at the end. Had a couple of bad turnovers. Only scored one field goal the last 10 minutes of the game. Tyre Smith fouled out after being the best inside guy in the game, and that really hurt us down the stretch. But those two teams will be coming in this week looking to stabilize their positioning in the conference race. They're both fighting for the number one and two seeds, and we're fighting for seeding as well. So should be an interesting basketball game. Certainly Thursday night is a whiteout game, coaches versus cancer, and we've got a hashtag Give Me Five. We're trying to get every fan in attendance to give $5 to go and benefit pediatric cancer. So we've done a very good job with that marketing, and nationwide we're having some success with it, getting a lot of recognition for our university and the Cancer Society. So we're excited about Thursday.
How much does it motivate you guys? Obviously, like you said, you guys were shorthanded because of injuries, but just how much does it motivate you to bounce back and show that you're a better team than the one that got blown out by 30 plus points against Georgia State?
Well, as I said earlier, a lot of teams have had lopsided scores this year, and that game certainly happened. We're motivated to win every time we take the court, and we have had a good rivalry with Georgia State, and they've had the upper hand in that most of the time. And this is one we need to get. Last year we had a great win against them here on a Friday night ESPN2 game, and hopefully we can have the same type of performance on Thursday.
What type of the environment you guys had there last year? What did that mean just to this program? And having that again, how much can that help you?
Well, we need a big crowd. We still lead the league in attendance, but we certainly feed off our crowd as well as the visiting teams. They don't go into an environment like this at any other venue. There's some beautiful venues in our league, but they're not attended and not the atmosphere that we have here at the Cajun Dome. So we need a great crowd from our students and university, as well as people coming to watch good college basketball and contribute to a great cause in American Cancer Society.
When you guys have had shooting problems from the outside, has it been defense against you, shot selection, shots just not falling, accommodation, or something else?
It's always all the above, it seems like, Tim. It may be one thing one night where we just miss open shots, but teams are pretty good defensively. I mean, Texas, Arlington, and Texas State are good defensive basketball teams. Those coaches put a priority on defense. and as well as we do. So it can be a combination of all those factors, and we need to shoot the ball better. We have not shot the basketball as well as we are capable. We've got some guys that have deep range, and Hardy and Russell and Johnson, and we're going to have a night. I told a friend of mine after this Texas State game, we're going to have a night here soon where we hit 10 or 12 three-point shots because we certainly have the guys to do it. And hopefully it's Thursday night, and I'm pledging $100 for every one we make. So we may shoot 30 or 40 to try to up that cause and help win the basketball game at the same time.
You talk about defense. Georgia State gets a lot of notoriety for scoring a lot, but they're like holding teams to 40%, even maybe a little below 40. What do they do defensively?
They're playing solid man. Rob Lanier took over the program, and he worked for Rick Barnes at Texas and Tennessee. So similar man defensive philosophy, take good shots. But they've been very strong defensively.
Any idea, like what has Troy done matchup wise against them that had success? Like how do you explain that?
Well, they made a lot of threes the other day. I believe they made 14. And I watched the game last night while watching the Super Bowl at the same time, and felt like Troy was just making shots. They did a good job with them, and Georgia State had the game under control and let it go the last 5 minutes. But Troy has always played well, even though they're two new head coaches at both institutions. They have always had a great luck, I guess you'd say, or success versus Georgia State. So big win for Scott Cross and Troy's program, and it's going to make the rest of the season interesting for all of us.
Are y'all kind of start? Is it too many games left, or are you starting to say, okay, we need to do this to try to get to the conference tournament or wherever you're trying to get to, or is it too many games?
Well, you certainly look at the standings. You get late in the second half. It's no different than a baseball race. The last month, you're going to look at the standings, look at the opposing schedule, see who matches up well with each other, who might have an advantage. But each game's critical. And when you go head to head with people, you certainly need to win those battles.
How much does playing two of the top teams in the league in Georgia State, Georgia Southern, if you can split or you can win both games, what does that say about the growth of this team through all of the adversity?
Well, we've played better down the stretch. We talked earlier when Kobe went out before the Arizona State game. I mean, we were 2-10 for a minute, and Malik goes down. It's just hard to play without guards, and those are two of our more aggressive scorers, even though they're both freshmen. And we're trying to win every game. We're not trying to split. We're trying to beat Georgia State, Georgia Southern as well. Even though they have good teams, and it'll take a great weekend by our group to do this, we can do it if we shoot the basketball and play like we're capable of playing.
I'm looking at here, there's, I think, 6 teams, you got 2 wins separating from your 4 to 6 wins, and then another 3 at 7. So when it's all bunched together like that, does that change approach at all, or does that affect anything besides, like you said, just looking at it?
Just makes it more interesting, I think, for our fan base and for the teams in our conference. It's been a very close race all the way through. Keith Gill was at the game Saturday at San Marcos. He came over to the locker room. We visited for the game, talked about the parity in the league, and he was saying how he wished the format were different this year, and it will change next year, but to bring everyone together would be a super exciting tournament. We do look at the loss column more so than the win column, and try to see where we stand and who we can catch. And we played App State once. They played pretty good ball. They got O'Shawn Williams back, and if we wind up tied with those guys, they'll win the head-to-head, for example, or we would win the head-to-head. And Coastal, the last game of the year, is going to be a big one too for us senior night. But we're all bunched up, and it's a good point. We're only a couple of games out of like 5th or 6th place.
How do you guys balance, obviously, keeping guys healthy if they're a little banged up versus, at the end of the year, obviously, you got to win the tournament no matter what. So how do you balance, playing for the end of the year to say, okay, we want to be as healthy as possible for the end of the year versus, winning now?
Well, you have to win now to position yourself for the seeding in the tournament. That's the most important thing. You can't win the tournament if you're not in it. And it's going to be a tough go for the ninth and 10th place team. So we're shooting, trying to get 6. In a perfect world, we need to get 6 if we can. And I think that's doable. A lot of things would have to transpire, but that's our goal at this moment. And to play better basketball, and we've done that in the last 2 weeks.
The Georgia Southern game, was it just as simple as you made shots in the first 28 minutes and you didn't down in the last 10 minutes or so, or was it more complicated than that?
No, it was that, but it was losing Tyrus also. He fouls out with about 13 minutes to go, and we went 1 for 10, or excuse me, 1 for, well, I think it was 1 for 10, but we only scored 1 field goal in the last 10 minutes of the basketball game, and we wound up losing the game by about 14 or 15 points, and it was a much closer game than that.
Any update on Wesley? Is it closer or not really?
Still have no update. I'll learn more today. I talked last week with BJ and said that he had gotten a couple of doctor's reports and from the counselors and people that are working with him, and he's still having some issues. So we were hoping to have him back this week, but don't know that that'll happen.
Have you had a #1 Sports Center top 10 play before?
I don't know. I don't know. I know we've been up there before. A couple of play stoves. It was a Saturday afternoon, so that was an easy one to top. But being late on a Thursday night makes it a little bit easier. Alford made a top 10 play at Ole Miss his freshman year. I do remember that. But someone else asked me if it was the first one for the athletic department, and I'm not sure. It could be. I don't remember one that was. So those don't happen very often. It's nice to make the pass, the catch, the shot, execute that play. And it says a lot about our team.
Was that shot better than Leighton's shot against Kentucky?
Oh, I thought it was for sure, no doubt. And one thing that's interesting, I don't know if everyone knows this, but the young man from Kentucky that hit the go-ahead shot is now your coach at Southern University in Baton Rouge, Sean Woods. So he went from hero to not going to the Final Four because of that shot.